upgrades.
Hey, what's going on there, everybody? This is Sammy Lega here representing TeamJVS, here to give you guys another movie review. I'm talking about the new movie, No Hard Feelings. No Hard Feelings is going to be coming out this Friday, and it is starring Jennifer Lawrence. It's got Matthew Broderick in it. It's got Ivan Mars Broderick, newcomer Andrew Barth Feldman, and many others. And the baseline of it is Jennifer Lawrence's character, Maddie. She's down on her luck. She doesn't have that much money. She's about to lose her home. And she's presented with an opportunity to quote unquote date this rich family's son who is about 19, ready to go on to college, but he is a hermit. He is not getting out of his shell, and they are concerned about who he's going to be. And so, in their perspective, getting him to loosen up and date is going to break him out of his shell, and that's how we get to No Hard Feelings. So when I first saw the first trailer for this movie, I was kind of like, this looks like this could be pretty fun. There were some really sketch moments that I saw in the first trailer. I was like, this seems a little over the top. This seems like a little bit too much. But I was kind of like hoping against all hope. And first off, Jennifer Lawrence is an amazing actress. Don't get it twisted. She's one of the best in industry, right? And so I was kind of like, when you got her, who's in her 30s or about to be in her 30s, and you got this young man in Andrew, I was kind of like, how is this supposed to mesh? Because one, she's 10 years older than him, or maybe a little bit like less than that. And then two, the baseline of the premise is this is a rated R film where she's trying to get him to sleep with her. And so I was like, is this going to actually functionally work? So I'll go and kind of level out everything as far as what I think about the film. Do I think it's worth your time? And then we'll kind of put a pin on this. Okay. So as far as like some of the cinematography, the editing, whatnot, I think some of the edits are all right. There's a lot of open pan shots because most of it is taking place kind of on the beachfront or a lake house area. Some of those shots are pretty decent, but it's nothing to kind of bat an eye about, so to speak. Some of the CG choices are a little risque because a lot of the CG choices sometimes there's like a whole nude scene and it's on a beach, and I was like, this seems like there's CG going on, and then there's other times where CG is kind of used for like certain action-esque moments, and you ask yourself, how did be action in the movie like this? There are is a chase sequence. There are scenes where somebody's getting ran over. There are scenes where somebody's getting like pepper sprayed, which I'll post that up right here. And so there are moments for action and shenanigans going on. And I think that Jennifer Lawrence probably wanted to kind of have like a slapstick comedy like this. So it does play like your normal base rom-com. The thing about this film, though, is in the very beginning of it, I kind of was like not connected to any of the characters, specifically Jennifer Lawrence's character, Maddie, because there's nothing approachable about her in that she seems like she comes across as a jerk. She's really shrewd. She seems like she's got an issue with something else, but then she's undercutting everybody around her. And all the different moments of her being snooty and mean and ill-spirited, it just didn't land for me to connect with Maddie as a character. Whereas like other characters that she's connected with, I was kind of like, oh, okay, I actually like this character. Like, what's one of the characters I actually really did like? Yeah, the character Travis, played by Quincy Dunn Baker. Like Travis, I liked him as a character. I thought he was like really good introduction. Like he's connected with them, and every other character up until Andrew's character Percy shows up really didn't do anything for me because their interactions with her didn't work. And even in the very beginning, when Jennifer Lawrence is first introduced to the character of Percy, I kind of was like, she's pushing too hard. This is a little too much. This is like is I felt like it was going to get old very quickly, and it may not land for certain audiences. I'm gonna say that because it is too on the nose. Sometimes it just is like really creepy, and then it was like really edgy, and then at times it was kind of like really graceful. I kind of leaned more on the moment that Percy started to talk and communicate, and you started to see what kind of person Percy is, played by Andrew. Man, Andrew honestly saved a good portion of this film for me because I bought into him connecting with somebody, listening to somebody, growing with somebody. And I kind of was starting to ship what this was doing as far as their friendship, relationship. And it was just the weird thing about talking about this is the fact that he technically is underage. He's not even 21 yet, and she's in her 30s. And it's just it comes off really weird to be rooting for that in this relationship. But then I think you know what you're getting if you're going into this movie, what this actually is. So it's not, I had to kind of turn that side of my brain off. It's like, okay, is there connection there? Are there actual moments where there's chemistry going on? And I'll say in the middle part of this movie, like I actually was thinking some of that stuff was really sweet. There was a scene that's out, outside, and they were kind of talking and having like a good time, and all of a sudden something happens, and Jennifer Lawrence character goes and dials it up to a million, and then she sets back down just off a small conversation he has with her. There's also a kind of a musical number that Andrew does, um, and I thought that he did a really good job with that because it allowed Jennifer's character Maddie to offset and breathe for me to find connection with her. The issue with that is that I was rooting for Andrew's character to change her. But then as she started to change and grow, so to speak, I realized I knew nothing about Maddie. I didn't have any connection outside of her friends. It was just a lot of exposition. So it makes Maddie as a character like empty. Like the only source of connection that we have is the relationship with her friends and the relationship that she has or is developing with Percy. And then the third act of the film, coming off the second act, Percy starts to change. And once he kind of loses all of that, the things that I loved about his character and how he started to change, I kind of lost track. It kind of lost me for a little bit. I think the end kind of tried to redeem that a little bit. But it kind of lost me because I was like, where are we going with the moral of this story? And also when you have like an actor like Matthew Broderick, like in most of the scenes with him and the person that plays his wife, I think we're decent. They also kind of come off really cringy and really pointless because it's like I don't buy them as his parents. I think that's another weird thing. It just when they try to go over the top and try to make it work, it comes off really cringe and it doesn't work. But then when they just naturally let the comedy kind of flow and let the actors just kind of live into the moment and play on the shenanigans around Jennifer Lawrence's character or around Andrew's character, I think that's when it actually thrives. Because honestly, even people that were in my movie theater were cracking up. There are actual scenes and jokes in this that do land. There are comedic moments that I think actually do work and can work in a group setting. That there's some foolishness that happens in this that I was legitimately cracking up a good 45 to 65% of the movie. Like I was actually cracking up. The rest of that is where I was kind of like, I need to kind of be invested or connected to them as, whatever they're supposed to be. The problem is when the movie ends, they don't establish what that actually is, what that looks like. They just kind of rush the ending and they kind of miss a good opportunity. I do think that this is a movie that you can be entertained by, but I think that some people will kind of look at this like, I didn't need to waste my time. Like, this didn't work. This is too cringy. Like, this is forcing too much. And I mean, I'll give a prime example. I think that Ebon Moss, Barrett's character Gary, he does not work in this film. Like, not only is he not funny, but I think that they were trying to use him kind of like a totem, to Maddie's, emotional state or psyche or perspective, and it just loses it. Every other relationship with Jennifer Lawrence's character Maddie, outside of her best friends and Percy, it doesn't add anything to her as a character. And when I think that there are layers there that you really could pull it. So I think that if this movie would have took itself seriously and then added like the shenanigans, maybe it would work better, but then maybe it wouldn't be as funny. And then the other side of that, with what it is, if they would have kind of layered and flushed out some of what Maddie's character could have been or what she was in the past and how she got there, used it outside of exposition, I think that you could have had a really well-rounded story as a whole from a narrative perspective. So I'd rate this at a 5.5 or 6 out of 10. I'm going to keep it at a 6 out of 10, only because some of the funny moments when they landed, they actually did land. And I think that this would be something that some people would actually watch and enjoy. And I really give the kudos to Andrew. I think Andrew actually really stole the show for me in this one. Not to say that Jennifer Lawrence isn't a beast, but like, if he was not there, I don't think that this movie would have worked the way that it did. I really don't. And every single moment that first 2 acts that was him, I think it really does thrive. It's just in that third act, they do something with his character, and it just doesn't work, and it brings the movie down for me. Like, if I graded it off of just the third act, it would be like a 4 out of 10. But I think that there were enough things that I did like in certain suspects that I was like, okay, it's decent. It's actually decent. Let me know what you think of No Hard Feelings. Thank you guys so much for watching. Make sure you like, subscribe, hit the bell button. I'll talk to you guys soon. Keep it locked. JVS, we ain't gonna stop. Peace, everybody. Have a great afternoon.
Falling out the top of the
I can see the skyline, 50 mile radius on my timeline. Ain't nothing on my mind.